Let's get this started, eh? Gloves off. Hello viewer, I'm sure you remember me. I'm Dan and this is ThatCoolStoryBro. We're going to skip the intro again because I don't really like my intro. I made it, don't really like it anymore. I'm going to try and make something a little bit better. So we're just going to launch right into it. And what I want to talk about today, between you, me, and this new camera that I'm trying out, is the perils of idealism. I spoke very shortly about idealism in my video about cynicism, but the two are really quite different. What is idealism, you might ask? Well, I tried to find a good definition of it on Wikipedia, but doing so almost caused my brain to explode on account of how philosophically jargonistic the article was, so I'll substitute my own definition, which I feel is probably more than fair. Idealism is believing in and sticking to abstract notions that are impossible to achieve, or almost impossible to achieve, in our very real, very non-abstract world. As an example, an idealist might believe in the purest, most ideal form of capitalism, in which the world is run by business, not government, and a man is entitled to the sweat of his own brow, and the wheat of society is separated from the chaff by the inherent forces of capitalism. On the other hand, a socialist idealist would believe in the truest sense of socialism, where everyone is provided for, because the individual works for the public, and the public for the individual. The important thing to understand about idealism is that it is a hope for the physical manifestation of something abstract, which means it's incorporeal. The abstract is not found in reality, and likely never can be, and that's why idealism is irrational. But, my sweet, sweet viewer, for the intents and purposes of this channel, I focus on too big a picture. My sights are not set on political idealism, but rather idealistic expectations of fellow humans that I feel demand a chill pill. Story time. On Christmas Eve, my brother, who is 2 years my elder, called up my mother to enlist her help in thinking of a good gift for his girlfriend, as he really had no idea what to get her, and I think we can all relate to this. However, when alerted to this, my sister, who's 2 years my younger, scoffed at his inability to find a good gift before Christmas Eve. She seemed to find his behavior an example of a poor lover. And to that I say, are you serious? He's not made of magic, you know. The main reason I bought my Christmas gift so late is not because I'm lazy, but I just could not think of anything good to get anybody. Poor Hemplo, my buddy Pedro. I didn't get anything for Pedro this year because I literally could not think of one thing that he would get that he might enjoy and find useful. I know he likes motorcycles, but he doesn't have one, so what the hell would he do with a pair of riding gloves? I know he likes playing video games every once in a while, but the last time I tried to get one for him, it was Lego Star Wars, by the way, he decided to return it for something else. Now that is a fair thing to do, I'm not complaining about that. But I'm just saying, I don't have a lot of options when it comes to some people. What am I gonna do, get him another scarf? Trust me, I'm the last person that he should receive any fashion help from. Dwarfing my sister's notions of an ideal lover, however, were my ex-girlfriend's litany of expectations they had for me based on the most evil film genre of all, romantic comedies. I dare not speak on this industry for fear of lapsing into a hate-induced coma, so I'll focus on my exes instead. I'll give a few examples of how I was often tested against my ex-girlfriend's idealistic expectations of my devotion to her. When we were going out, ideally I would stop at least one time out of the day to talk to her on the phone, even if we'd been texting all day and even if we had nothing to talk about. I remember sitting on the phone day after day, both of us just sitting in silence and thinking about how stupid it was that I was wasting my time there. But if I left, she would get upset about it. Ideally, if we were having an argument and she asked me to leave, I should stay, because I should have been able to read her mind. And so she did not have to communicate clearly with me. She would also deprive me of her affection in the hopes that, ideally, I would try to earn it and therefore prove my devotion to her. My best example is when she explained to me that when she used to curl up in bed facing away from me, it was a test to see if I would try not once or twice, but maybe 5 to 10 times to try to get her to cuddle with me, to see if I cared. And I asked her, don't you think I want to feel cared for? How would you feel if I did that? And it completely didn't register with her that perhaps I would like to be shown love. Such were her expectations of what the boyfriend should do for the girlfriend. At least she didn't decide, like my first girlfriend did, that our entire high school homecoming was ruined because I forgot to get her a corsage. Yes, lovely viewer. My first girlfriend's idealistic expectations of our time together were so high that they depended on a stupidly expensive flower that was no other use except for being placed on her wrist. Now, I'd offer more examples of this kind of crap, but as you can probably understand, I've tried to forget them. These stories about irrational expectations of lovers, gift givers, friends, and so on, I reflect on because they all come back to idealism. The real relationship being mistaken for the ideal relationship, and then held to such standards. I have often before heard the statement, if you really cared, you would have done this or that or any number of things, as if to say the one who's speaking is the final authority on how another should display their concern for a subject. I hope, viewer, you can see why I find this disconcerting. Since when did we surrender our individual sovereignty to the expectations of others? Since the birth of romantic comedies, of course. That is a joke. Of course we all have control over our own actions, and I'd rather not sound like Rick Perry by stating that we don't. Nonetheless, I understand that a part of building relationships is sacrificing self-serving activities in favor of those that serve others. It's perfectly acceptable to expect a friend, family, or lover to spend time and interest on you. It's acceptable to expect those people to say and do things that make you happy from time to time, just as they should expect it of you. All in all, the point is to show that both of you care. But it's unfair to demand of another to show their care in a particular way, especially if it involves material wealth like a corsage, or bending over backwards to cater to unrealistic expectations of behavior. So viewer, don't have of other people expectations that would cause Jesus to break a sweat, because it's expectations like those that have rid me of any desire to have a partner. Be fair, be nice, be realistic, do not do unto others what you would not like have done unto yourself. And stop watching romantic comedies. They're scripted cesspools of unrealistic romantic imagery. Well, viewer, I apologize this wasn't a very upbeat video. Hopefully it wasn't as angry as other ones. But nonetheless, what you just watched was That Cool Story, Bro. I'm Dan. I hope you enjoyed it. And for the love of Christ, if you like these videos at all, show them to other people so I can reach out to more people and see what they think and all that. It's fun having 5 subscribers, but I'd like a little bit more than that. But anyway, yeah, I'll see you next time.
Rambling for roving, for football or courting, or drinking black porter as fast as you fill. In all your days roving, you'll find none so jovial as our muskery sportsman about Teddy Quill.